All right. Well, good evening, everybody. Welcome to our December general membership meeting. So this is the last meeting of the year, and we thought we would take this opportunity to do like an election wrap up and do some reflection in terms of PDHC achievements, and also talk about what we can do over the next year. We have some ideas, and also we're open for additional ideas. So as you know, PDHC is a fairly young organization, and it was we formed it because there's an absence in Howard County of an organization that really advocates from the left, that advocates on true accountability and transparency in government. And so over this short amount of time, I think we've been very successful. There's a lot more to do, but I think we're all proud of what we have accomplished in a very short amount of time, with not a lot of resources, but a lot of very dedicated community activists. But in addition, I think also we even though we are advocating from the left, we welcome anybody, regardless of party affiliation, who espouses these values that we have put forward in our bylaws and in our on our website. So we'll just go right to the meeting. We have a few updates. Just from my point of view, just want to say that the county council was sworn in on Monday, December 5, 2022, and it was nice that our group PDHC received a shout out from Councilmember Deb Young to recognize us for our support of her campaign. Yes, thank you, Deb. We're really, I think it's one of the silver linings of this election is that Deb and Liz were reelected, and so hopefully we can continue to work with them on some of the legislative agenda that we will develop over the next year. Treasurer's report, we have we received 2 checks. One was for $50 and another one is for $54. It's for membership renewal and a new member sign up. We didn't have any expenses. To date, we have a balance of $1,916.53, broken down by checking account and Venmo, as you can see here. We have a few announcements. We shared it through email as well. Our membership cycle runs from it's a calendar year, so December. So from January 1 of the year, from January 1 to January 1 of the following year. And so if you're already a member, please renew your membership, and if you're not a member, we urge you to join, because we need we need more people to advocate. As many of you know, county issues does not have a lot of people paying attention to it, and the more we have, the more eyes we have on these issues, the better for all of us. So please join and be active. Another thing that we are encouraging is that members join the Progressive Maryland chapter, the state chapter. I think this is very important, because it will allow us to organize much more effectively by taking advantage of some campaigning tools and reaching voters in off-year elections, and we'll talk about that a little bit more. We have a couple of petitions that are currently active. One is a change.org petition that's calling for the county to develop a plan for schools in its new draft general plan proposal. We'll talk about this a little bit more later, but the general plan has been the draft general plan has been released. It's out for public comment, and it's woefully lacking when it comes to talking about infrastructure, talking about schools. It needs its own chapter for schools. The Howard County public school system is the county's economic engine, and it's not receiving the level of attention that that kind of contribution deserves. So I'll share that petition here, and if you haven't signed it, please do so. And if you have, please share with your network. Another petition that we have is a call to. I'll preface it with a background. We've had several county executives in Howard County over the years, and we've only had one female county executive. She's the first female county executive in Howard County's history and the state's history. And while other former county executives have received recognition and honor by, I don't know, naming a building or some facility after them, she has not received that level of honor. So of course I'm talking about former county executive Liz Bobo, who is a member of PDHC, and we think that needs to change. So there's a petition for that, calling for the county to rectify this. I'll generously call it an oversight, but I don't think it is. That's the second petition that we have active. And as I mentioned, the general plan is the draft general plan has been released. I really can't emphasize enough how much this plan will have an impact on this county. I mean, the last one was bad. This one is going to be the last one is going to be minor compared to what's coming up, because I think that the developers see this as their last chance to extract as much resources from this county as possible, and they're going to do everything that they can to get the exemptions, to get to build without the infrastructure, and so we really if there's one thing we should focus on, it's really this one. So to that point, the public comments are due on January 16, 2023, and they're moving aggressively. So they want to do January 16, 2023 public comments, February 20 something, 23 or something. I'm going to share the general plan page here for people to reference. So February something, February 20 something would be, they'll take it to the planning board, which is a perfunctory rubber stamping group that will look at it and just say, okay, fine. And then they will take it to the county council in March. So that's the timeline. It's very aggressive. So they just want to, they want to ram it and get it over with as quickly as possible. So we need to be prepared for that. Then another event that is worth our attention is the state delegation. I think I don't know if there's a I feel like probably
personally, we try not to, but we do. So any bullet points that you want to send to us, and I think that we may take you up on your
hey Karen, could you mute the
so I'm trying to figure out who that is. Is it Joel? Yes.
Okay. All right, very good, thank you. So the state delegation will be holding a public hearing on December 14, 2022 to hear to hear from the residents on bills that they have introduced that are so-called local bills. There are a few of them. There are some good bills and there are some bad bills. The good bill will there it's I know what it is. I'm not gonna I don't want to risk mischaracterizing it. But it is related to shifting the burden of proof to demonstrate need for special needs from the parents to the school system. I may be wrong, but that's that's the best that I could describe it. I believe a lot of activists who worked on that, they consider that a good decision, so that's good. Another good bill would be a bill by Council Member State Delegate Jen Terraza to require that CA Board of Director elections, candidates for those in those elections disclose their source of campaign funds. After the previous Rouse Project debacle, where Howard Hughes essentially bankrolled all these candidates to take over the Columbia Association. So that's a good bill. A bad bill, and I mean, bad does not begin to describe what this bill would be to the state delegation, specifically this bill is sponsored by Delegate Courtney Watson and State Senator Clarence Lamb. This bill would essentially eliminate the existing councilmanic structure to elect Board of Education candidates and change it to get to elect so three. As many of you know, we have 5 councilmanic districts and 2 at-large board members. So the 5 will be eliminated, and that will be replaced with 3 Board of Education candidates being elected according to state legislative districts, 2 at large and 2 appointed. And the 2 appointed would be appointed by the county executive. This has galvanized, I think, people from all sides, from all across the spectrum, that it's a terrible bill, and we're I think we should go and let the state delegation know to basically withdraw this bill. In addition to that, there will be a rally on the same day at the George Howard Building. I believe it's at 6:15 and there'll be some speakers. The last information that I have is, I believe, former Board of Education member Vicky Cotronio and Council Member Liz Walsh will be speaking at this rally, and so please attend before the rally. I have given out a lot of information to this point. I'll pause to see if there are any questions before I move on. Okay, very good. So this is a reiteration of what I mentioned earlier, the Progressive Maryland chapter opportunity. Please join. If we have 15, if 15 members join, then we can officially become a Progressive Maryland chapter. Then this will of course give us access to some really good organizing tools, which is what we need. We need to be talking to voters in off-year election, in off-election years, to continue to raise awareness about county issues. I think at this point, I wanted to pause and because this is related to an activity that was done by a couple of by at least one member recently, this canvassing and talking to voters. Kiana, if you're available right now, can you describe your experience in terms of what when you did the canvassing?
Well, I'm still doing it now. I did it twice. Didn't do last Saturday because it was a holiday, and I thinking to myself of maybe going out again upcoming Saturday, or maybe the Saturday after the Saturday well, next Saturday I meant to say, sorry. All right, so what I'm doing is focusing on, well, the affordable apartments, especially around the Columbia area. And what I'm initially giving handing out these county guidebooks in case for any resident that or themselves or anyone they know could use, and was hoping to ask what their thoughts are on the services, if they know, are aware of them, or using them. Haven't been able to ask, but as well as see it as an opportunity to like gauge like any needs that they might have. And I hope to build up to providing like some form of mutual aid and be an opportunity to meet one-on-one, and then meet one-on-one to like do a one-on-one with them and encourage them to take charge of their community, rally their neighbors, and all the empowerment, especially be more involved in the county politics along with their neighborhood. And that's a goal I'm looking to achieve, like within, I don't know, especially really when I get it running, all the door knocking, more focus into next year.
Okay, very good, Kiana. I really think this is a good initiative, and we'll talk about this a little bit later in terms of what our 2023 plan. So thanks for that, Kiana. I wanted to just quickly recognize that we have Council Member Deb Young on in the meeting as well, and so just wanted to do that before. Oh, there you go. Okay. All right. Thanks for joining.
It is a pleasure. And my next step is I really do need to start paying dues. So
Yeah. Oh, there is. We'll have that information up very soon. So yeah. Okay. Good.
okay. And thank you all again. It was, as I said, you deserve the credit. So the least I could do was a shout out last night. But I was glad that a bunch of you were there to hear that, because you really made a difference. And sometimes you go out there and you think, oh God, did I make a difference? Right? And sometimes you can go out there and you say, yeah, I really made a difference. And you did. You all did. You really did. And I can't thank you enough for that. So
But
I came back in here tonight to say it individually and personally too.
well, yeah. Thank you for those words, Councilmember Deb Young. My experience, during the door knocking and canvassing was that you and Beth and everybody, you guys were really it was a hard fought campaign. So you guys worked really hard. I know Ben Young really did.
He's back here making dinner right now. He's right back
Oh my
here.
God, Harry.
But he appreciates that, and he'll never forget it.
Yeah, I won't forget that either. But he worked really hard. So it was good to be part of that too. So thank you, Deb.
I'm going to stay on the meeting just in case you guys have any questions. I don't want to take up all your time, but I did just want to, since we're in sort of the post-election period now, and we just had this last night, I wanted to make sure that I stopped by tonight. But again, I'll stay on in case anybody has any questions about things coming up. I will make one comment. You were talking about the general plan and the putting a chapter in on schools. Did you cover that piece, or are you going to cover it here?
I mentioned that earlier.
Yeah, you know what a big advocate I am for that. We've talked about it, I think, for the last 2 years now. And I think it is just such a great idea. And any way that I can help you keep moving that issue along. I guess the thing that we do have time, because one of the decisions that we made is that the county council would not start listening to public testimony on the general plan until June 2023. We're going to do it after the budget in 2023. So our budget usually starts, we start getting things in March. So we start focusing in March almost solely on the budget. Then we have all of our hearings in April. By the end of May, we are voting on the budget. So we'll have like we'll have January and February sort of free to think about legislative efforts, focus on other things. And that just gives you an idea of where we are. We'll probably spend a good portion of June and July with these public hearings in 2023 on the general plan.
Okay, yeah, thanks for that explanation. The timeline on the website said, I believe it said, starting in March. So just, knowing that the public hearings won't start until June is good, but it's still not, still given other issues, it's still not enough time. So we should still be on it starting now. So
yes,
but that provides more clarification. So thanks for that.
Yeah, I think it was right before. I think it might have been right at the beginning, a meeting that we had right at the beginning of November, where we just decided, no, we're not going to do that until after the budget. So it's up to us.
Okay, very good, very good. Okay,
Yeah.
Thank you.
All right.
All right. Jake, did you have you had a question?
Yeah, just in terms of you mentioned like the CA board races, or not really the races, but the stuff with the CA president going on right now in the Rouse project races in the past. And I know me and you were talking about like what exactly is the developer's interests in having control or influence over the CA board and their decisions, and also like how can that negatively impact like people who live there, and like specifically with I think you were saying something about it could make their like fees go up or their rents go up or something like that.
Yeah. So if past the prologue, what I think Howard Hughes wants to do is load up the CA board with its handpicked candidates and essentially use them to hand over public property for private use. And that's what they did in 2010 or whenever that was, when Ken Ullman was county executive, and that's what they want to do. That's what they want to do again. And one concern, when I talk to someone who's very familiar with the CA finances, they mentioned that there are different nuances there in terms of how the expenses, in terms of revenue and expenses, and how it affects people's annual fees. However, there is a concern that there might be, Howard Hughes might be receiving some benefits from public from the CA that it's not that it didn't earn, and so in fact there is a fight going on right now in the CA where from the looks of it, the CA board wants to assert its obligation, its right to oversee the association and the people that work for the association, and that has led to some spats but at the end of the day, it's about Howard Hughes getting what it wants, and it's using former elected officials and former public employees to advance that. And if you're interested, anybody that's interested, there is a resident speak out. If you're a CA Columbia resident, and frankly speaking, even if you're not, because anything that happens, Columbia is not an island. If there are financial issues and Howard Hughes benefits from that, it affects everybody. So that will be held on December 8th. And I have a link for that if you're interested to sign up. I'll share it right now.
I think the problem is here is like understanding specifically what the issue is with Lakey Boyd and the board. And I'm still not clear. I know there's a problem there and I understand what you're saying and I don't disagree. I'm trying to understand why the board suddenly has a problem with Lakey Boyd and then why the outrage on behalf of Lakey Boyd. Do you have any insight into that? Because I wasn't able to get any at that Sunday coffee thing.
I mean, my understanding is that she's like not being transparent with the board and like withholding things like important legal documents, information about their settlement with the Symphony of Lights lawsuit with the people that own Merriweather Post Pavilion. And, to my understanding, it's within the board's right to have, as representatives of the residents, to have access to that information because the residents do pay for it, potentially millions of dollars, for these lawsuits. And, so her not being transparent was one issue, but I was also asking about like, the impact of if the developers essentially do get their way, what impact that can have on like increased, rent prices or living prices on them.
It's not, well, I mean, I think there's a formula that they have to use, and I don't know for sure when it comes to CPRA, the Columbia Parks and Recreation Association fees that everyone who is a resident of Columbia pays. I don't know what the formula is, and I don't know what the rules are around amending it. I have heard complaints from some board members about a lack of transparency from Lakey Boyd. My concern would be around, I don't know what Howard Hughes would get, but one of the things that Columbia is supposed to have is a lot of green space. There's supposed to be a lot of open spaces, and that is disappearing. I have personal experience with that as a soccer coach from I haven't coached soccer in 2005, but it was already an issue in 2005, finding open spaces just to hold a recreational soccer practice on, because everything's been gobbled up. So though I have a very cursory understanding of what's going on. I wasn't able to get more information out of people. They've gone secretive. I know that there's an issue with the CA board and the ethics policies. So they're living under the current ethics policies, but I do understand that Lakey Boyd would like them to redo the ethics policies. That's the only other issue that I know of where there's this trouble between CA. So when they say speak out, was this organized? I haven't really been paying attention here, and I apologize, but this resident speak out at the CA board meeting, was this to get residents to come and speak in favor of Lakey Boyd?
No, this, I think I believe this, you may know this already, Karen, but I believe this the speak out as part of the meeting, the monthly meeting. So here's the thing. Howard Hughes wants to make Lakey Boyd the face of this, okay? And we should not fall for that. At the end of the day, I don't think anybody who wants transparency and accountability from the CA board or anybody should be mentioning, frankly, quite frankly, mentioning her name on this, because they want, this is how they operate. They want, you know, they want to make her the face of this, and now it's about her. But we know it's about accountability and transparency. And so if we focus on that and say, we support any effort to increase transparency and accountability, and my understanding is that the CA board has the, you know, has the authority to do what it's doing, and it's just, we support that. And any efforts by Howard Hughes to thwart that is what we oppose. And if we focus on that, I think, you know, because the thing is, I honestly, you know, it's there, as you guys, I don't know, some people have seen the articles that were written. They're making it about her, and this is not about her. This is about Howard Hughes Corporation, and, you know, and its operatives, you know, basically agitating to take over the board again by, you know, by using these, you know, the ethics issue, or, you know, some other things as a wedge issue. But ultimately, the CA board, it's in their you know, authority to do what they're doing. If they want to increase transparency and accountability, they should do it. And it would be, I think, you know, if anybody who, you know, if you want to speak out on that, definitely please do on Thursday, because this is just, you know, the reiteration of the or reincarnation of the Ross project that you know, that they're doing.
Yeah, and one more piece on that is, like, if you remember the original purpose of the Rouse project in whether it was 2021 or 2020, is that, you know, the current CA president was leaving, and so they were trying to run to get their candidates to have a majority on the board so that they could then have control over who the new president is. And obviously, they failed in taking over the board with the Rouse project, but that's all to say, taking over the board was a means to an end to have influence over the president. And to me, it seems like even though they failed at the goal of taking over the board, they still managed to basically get their influence over the new CA president without having majority on the board. And so the CA president's still doing all the things that they would have done if the Rouse project had been successful. And so, you know, that's why I think it's reasonable if the current CA board, who, you know, is acting in the interest of the residents, if they've, you know, determined that happened, then I think it is within their right and, you know, good judgment to want to get a new CA board president.
Yeah, I agree. All right. Yeah, thanks for raising that, Jake. So yeah, please go to the, you know, anybody who wants to, please check out that link and attend. And also one more link I'm going to send out is, I'm going to email or I'm going to send through chat, is for the December 14 state delegation public hearing. If you save this link, and the form to sign up will be available starting December 12 at 6 p.m. until December 14 at 6:30 p.m. So that's for the state delegation bill. All right. Are there any committee updates?
Speaking on behalf of Union Solidarity, we have no updates at this time, but I am going to try to get a group together in January.
Okay.
A
very
meeting.
good. Okay. Thanks, Karen.